All right, guys, welcome to the third episode of PitchGround webinars. This webinar is very special, and in this webinar, we'll actually talk about how to implement, how to take action, and how to close a five-figure deal, like how Doc did in just few days. And as long as you're able to take action, you will be able to see the results. So in this special episode, we have Doc Williams with us. Doc, it will be fantastic if you can just introduce to everyone who you are and just let them know a bit about you.
Okay, yeah, guys. So again, nice to see all of you guys, Rob, Melissa, and everyone, of course, Judith and Ty. So basically, my name is Doc Williams, and really how I got started was I was in the fitness space. I was actually a gym owner, and I was actually really, really bad at technology for a long time. And what just happened was I kept hearing people ask me how to do small tasks, usually on WordPress and other things like that. And the thing is, I took programming in high school, but I hadn't done anything in a long time. But in fitness, anyone that knows anything about tech, you automatically become like the guru in tech, even though it's not the case. I really didn't know anything. So I learned how to do a couple things on WordPress. And then a couple fitness people just needed a writer. So I ended up writing for ESPN, something in the States for sporting. And then from there, people kept asking me, hey, could you do like app design? Could you do like UI, UX? And I was like, that's not really what I do, guys. But I got on Udemy and I took a bunch of courses and I learned how to wireframe. And then from there, some people were asking me to build other apps like PWAs. And Ty, you were talking about that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And just really random stuff. So it kind of just evolved over what people needed. I would just learn it and then start going from there. And then in between all that, and I have it on a slide, but basically I became the CIO of a company called Congruence Technology. And that basically is an AI for basically Google, Twitter, and all those things. So very similar to actually Captain Growth. But they were there for about 2.5 years ago out of Maryland, so right outside DC. So I became that. And then for a fitness company, Rush Club Nation, imagine CrossFit and the UFC. You go head to head with fitness. It was a crazy idea. Anyway, I became the CTO of that company. So that's what I did. And then doing all those things, people kept asking like, hey, you learned how to do this. Can you start learning how to, could you just teach me? Could you just consult with a couple of my projects? So from there, it was just kind of very organic. I would just be at places and people were like, could you coach me? And I was like, you know what? I like this coaching thing. It's fun building, but sometimes I just don't feel like being awake at like 3 a.m. and talking about like just bugs on apps. I'm like, I'd rather just coach and talk about like theory of how to get into the market. So that's how I ended up here, guys.
That's awesome, man.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so Doc, talk to us a little bit about how, you were like you being able to now try and go out there and win business, and what does that look like for you as far as that goes? I know right now it started kind of, you said you kind of started organically having the ability to just kind of, be asked while you were like at an event or something like that. But now, this is kind of the jumping point for every entrepreneur. It's like, I had that one person come up to me at that one conference or that one thing, now it's like, how do you make that duplicatable? How do you make that, prolific? And how did you go about doing that?
Yeah. So at the time, everything that I thought I needed to do, I didn't need to do. Like I had to put it there. The main thing that I saw was I just had to be super useful and actively listen to what people wanted. And when people were asking me what to do, I would just try to build them a real concise solution, not for the whole problem, but like just what they needed at that time to get them to tangibly see what the next steps would be and then go on from there. The reason I say that is before, when I very first started, I thought I needed to give them the entire package from like A to Z. But the problem was people would get so overwhelmed, it didn't even matter what I just gave them. They'd be like, Doc, I don't really understand that. I think I need that, but and then they wouldn't close as a client. So what I saw was I just needed to present them to see exactly what they needed at the time and only give them that small chunk just for them to get their like ideas going and flowing, and then we'd go to the next level.
That's right. That's awesome. So you're saying maybe solving a problem that's tangible for them is way better than trying to give them the full solution.
Yeah, because I feel that it's just their pain point. Like they are so wrapped up in what they need, they can't understand the bigger picture. Like when I was trying to explain like funnels and what had to happen, like they just got lost in it. And I understand that because, I didn't understand, like I started doing this maybe in 2013 and I didn't understand. I didn't even know how to buy a domain and hosting. I didn't know how to do any of those things. I didn't even know how to log into WordPress. Like I couldn't even understand that. So when in marketing, like you mentioned, Ty, like sometimes you're so close to your work, you're so into being a marketer and knowing these terms, most people just can't grasp it and they automatically check out. And then on top of that, they get fooled by salesmen that promise them all these things, but they don't know what they're talking about. But they're better at being salesy and showing that they can solve their solution. It doesn't solve their problem at all.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the difference is, you can walk into any place. Oh, go ahead, you did. Sorry.
Oh, no. I think like since our audios are getting delayed for everyone, I think that is the reason. Yeah. So what I was saying was, Doc, when you built your first funnel, or when you started reading about your funnel, what was your thought process? Like, how did you get into it?
Say that last part again, Unit. I'm sorry.
My question was when you started building and when you started reading more about your funnels and when you started reading about how to build funnels, what was your thought process? How did you begin building up your funnels? Were you just grabbing a piece of paper and a pen and were you just designing your funnels or just using a Paint, Microsoft Paint, Photoshop? What was your process?
Okay, awesome. Yeah. I can bring up my slides too because I talk about it. Either way, do you want me to bring up the slides or just talk about it before I do the slide thing?
Yeah, if that's what's on there, let's see it. I would love to.
Okay, awesome. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me screen. Can everyone see my slides?
Yep, I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So let me do this over here. Okay, you already know about me, so there's no point of talking about that. Yeah, so exactly, you exactly were talking about like what I did. I just took inventory and then I wrote everything down on a piece of paper of all the things that I could solve for people. So when I was trying to look for my ideal customers, I like looked at the market and I said, okay, what are people trying to offer, but why am I unique and how am I better equipped than someone else, or the unique story that I could tell to show that I could provide value. And then after I made an inventory, like I could say like, hey, I could update your site. I'm actually a really good copywriter. I know this space. And obviously I knew the fitness space really well. So that's what I started with. And then I created packages like for my target audience. And then I'd write down who my target audience would be. So I'd be like, okay, I need trainers. I need gym owners. And then from there, I was like, okay, who would really enjoy this? And so from there, I would make really concise packages and I would only make a couple features. So very similar to someone's like pricing page, I would kind of make mini packets of what I would discuss with people. And then organically, I wouldn't take them to a page. I would just have a conversation with them, and I would just have it written down like this for the next steps. So yeah, I didn't have anything, nothing tech related. I just used a piece of paper.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going, man. This is great.
Oh, cool. So, and then this kind of helps with other people too. Like, just in case they think like they have to have like technology or a lot of tech before they go and do something. I'm like really raw in just write it down how you can help people. And if the main thing is with like, I find that storylines is a really big thing. So instead of just saying like, oh, I did WordPress, think about what makes your story so unique about WordPress. Is it a certain theme? Like I use Elementor. So like I get really specific, like I build it in Elementor Pro. And these are all the great things about it. And if you use Elementor Pro, I have all of these templates already built out. So now we can do a plug and play and you can get your page done within the next 7 hours versus someone that's going to take you a couple days. So something really, really specific. The other version is like I use ConvertKit, In ConvertKit, you're allowed to use different funnels or, copy over your sequence. So when I'm telling people like, hey, stop using Infusionsoft because you're not using Infusionsoft the right way anyway, and you're paying way too much, I can just build it in ConvertKit. What do you say, Ty?
I said, who is using Infusionsoft the right way?
Exactly. It's just a hot mess, and you're paying too much. Just let me build it over here. So I build really specific offerings, and then after I hear that, I record the call or record what people are messaging me like, hey, I'm looking for this, and then Confusionsoft. Then from there, I build the packages exactly what they're saying about what I can give them. So it's kind of like conceptual of what I do first, and then I just let people kind of enter the room and tell me what they want. And then I just build a package for them right there. And I kind of know how long it's going to take me or something. So then I equate that to how much I'm going to charge them.
Great. Awesome.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, so that's the main thing. And then from there, oh, cool. And then this is the main thing what like makes my process a little bit different. I know tons of people do this, but like for me, there's something we call sprouts. But really, sprouts are people that I know that are in my ecosystem that can talk more about me, and like they're going to be advocates for me anyway. So I start on one thing is I send out sprouts and I equip them with my message. So like one of the things I tell people is, hey, I'm working on this new project to solve X, and I really think this would be beneficial for you or people that you know. Like if you think this is a good thing and this could help you, could you tell 5 people that could really change their life? Wow. And now those 5 people, I don't have to cold call them. I don't have to make that like relationship building because they already trust that person already. So then when they introduce me, they already position me as the answer and the authority because they're like, I know Doc, he does all these things. He's awesome. Can you you got to listen to him. So then from there, it's a warm lead from the sprouts. And then I just set up a discovery call. So they've done all the hard work for me. And that I just do the discovery call. So it's like, I give them a link and then they just schedule the call and that's it, man.
That's pretty cool. I like that. I like that approach, Doc. That's great.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. And from there, it comes from the position of authority. So they're going to automatically talk great about you. You already know. You already have that relationship. Oh, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
That's a different angle actually. Different and very hot.
Sorry
process.
About that. Yeah. And thanks, Judith. Yeah. And from there, it kind of, they already are setting up what needs to happen. And that's a good question for Alex. No, I do not set up a new funnel every time. And the next slide is going into why I don't have to do that. really it's going to follow the same exact formula. So once they get on the discovery call, the call is, I frame the call the same exact way over and over again. And this is from, I'll give you the exact person who taught me how to do this too. I watched it. One of the guys from Craig Valentine, one of his top students did this. So basically framing the call, talking about first, what are they trying to get out of the call? How long the call is going to be, and what's going to happen by the end of the call. So that's how we first frame the call. So they are on the same page. Then talking about how I see the prison goals and struggles. I actually put this on the notes section of MarketPlan now. I open it up and I say, what are you struggling with? What are your goals? And what makes you upset? What makes you struggle right there? And the reason it's different than like the prison and the struggle, the prison might be, I need to reach people I need to have more followers on social media to make more sales. We get that a lot of times for the prison. And the goals is, I want more clients. Well, what's the struggle? Well, I'm creating content, but no one's paying attention. I'm not getting new clients. So a lot of people think the prison is like they need more people paying attention, but really the struggle is they need to have more, they need to have converting content, and they need to have content that people really care about for them to make the sale.
Right.
So once they see that written down, they realize, oh crap, like I don't need more followers. I don't need to get all of these other things. I need to get converting content and converting copy that really gets them to the next level. So if I can do that, if I can solve that, then that's what I'm building for the solution. Struggle is an unsuccessful prison break. Yeah, exactly right. So from there, basically, when I'm talking about the struggle, I make it really, really real for them for, how are you feeling every day? Are you getting on social media and you just feel like anxious and you're not doing this and you're just not successful and you don't know what to do? And they're like, yeah, I love my business, but I feel like I'm drowning, and every day it's worse and worse and worse. Okay, well, now we're going to build you that solution. And then from there, I'm just building that A to B connection with Marketplace where they can visually see what I'm going to do for them. And it's an easy win for them to understand that I understand their problem. This is the beginning for them to get results. And now they're bought into the process. It's
saying that's with MarketPlan. You do that?
Yeah. So with MarketPlan, and I can switch over in a second so you can see. There's a section in here, I think. Yeah. After that, I can switch over in MarketPlan and show you exactly what I do if you'd like that too. Okay. Cool. So that's basically the idea. And then so how we do it, we discover the pain point, we confirm the pain of what they're feeling, and then what is needed to relieve that. And then we use MarketPlan to build out solutions in real time.
That's awesome. And you do that on the call with them?
Yes.
Build it real time with them on the call. That's interesting. That's awesome.
Yeah. Because then they can see oh my God, this is exactly what I'm saying, and I'm confirming it. And they know that I'm not just making up a solution. They can see that I understand it and I can build it.
So, Doc,
Melissa, the call takes about 35 minutes before the close. So this whole process, I first build rapport and we kind of just talk. And
Okay, Doc, I have one question for you. When you're making your live funnel for them, are you funnel in advance on a piece of paper or anywhere so you know what you're going to present to them? You just keep going with the flow.
Say that again. I'm sorry. I only caught half of it.
What I was saying was that when you're making live funnels for your customers, do you pre-prepare it somewhere so that you know what you exactly you're building?
I think I caught most of it. And Tyler, if I missed something, let me know.
Yeah, you did right. Can you write it in the comments? I think your internet's breaking up quite a bit here, bro. I think he's trying to say, like, do you just kind of build it right in front of them, or do you stop in between and ask questions, or maybe like how does that normally go?
Oh, yes. Actually, so basically, I have a basic outline of what I'm gonna do, and then I just keep using it over and over again.
Okay.
And then from there, yeah. So basically, I have the basic thing that I'm gonna do, and
Okay.
then I just build out every single time the same way. So for an example, let me switch over. So a lifestyle nutrition. Let's see if this would be a good one. Okay. So when I built this one out, I started with the notes section, and I had their goals. And this was very basic. I didn't have all this writing. They just were talking to me on the call. And then I just started writing as they were filling in. So basically, I had what they were struggling with. So I had the prison, I had their goals, and then I had their struggle. And then from there, I built out. And so we talked about it. And then from the next section, I said, okay, is this what you're struggling with? And they said, yes. And then when they confirm, I say done. And all I have is my notes, my SOP plan, and I have ad set, social, and keyword. That's all I have on this screen first.
Okay.
And then I build out the rest based on what they're saying. And then I had these two notes section where I say like the catalyst, which is testimonials and content that mirrors your experience. Virality can be humor, cuteness, experience, strong emotion. So they had that question about like their testimonials. So I made a note there. And then I said marketing purpose. As they're talking, it says storyline 1 of 3. In my notes, I'm actually, as they're talking about, I try to write out what makes their business unique. And that way I can test out and I can build right here what needs to happen. So for an example,
that's in regards to that particular storyline, right?
Exactly. So basically right here is when her whole thing was that she wanted to have a clear path of her landing pages and them getting motivated from her blog post, what she needs to do to then get them on the phone and convert. Her main thing was she needs to talk to them. That's her highest converting section. So we talked about, okay, you need them to go on a landing page. From the landing page, there would be an opt-in. The email sequence would have them self-segment themselves. And the whole punchline was to get them to get on the phone with her. So that's what I was like, this would be A to B. This is what you're trying to solve first. We'll build out your other funnels. But what you're telling me is you need them to first engage and get them to believe from your blog content to over here. So that's what we built out real quick.
All right. So how, like, explain how, what was her response during the whole thing? Like how did she respond to that? Like, what was, like, when she saw it being built out, like, what, like, does she have questions? What's going on in those moments, Doc?
Yeah. So basically, everyone that I show this, they go crazy because they're like, this, I've never seen it visually done. Like, this makes sense. Before, every time that I'm trying to explain this, it's so conceptual and they don't understand funnels anyway. They get hung up every single time. So it really blows them away. And for Alex to talk about like what niche I'm in, I started in fitness, but now I do entertainment. But really, it's the gambit. I work with insurance companies right now. I had one real estate company, and then I'm working for mainly music and entertainment in fitness. So it's really all over the place. But like, I'll build it real quick. Like, so I start notes, I do this, and then from there, I talk about, because everyone wants to talk about ads, but they haven't done the work yet, and it's a hot mess anyway. So
That's right.
I do that. And then basically I talk about like, okay, if before you do ads, you have to understand organically how you're reaching people or how you're impacting people. So let's talk about this before we really put money on that. Because I can always do ads for right now, but you're going to lose money because you don't understand your avatar anyway. So we need to get all of this stuff right before we do that. And then also if they have an email list, we say, okay, well, do you have a email that self-segments them so you know your audience instead of just talking to everyone? Well, no, I don't. So what I usually do is, okay, well, if you have an email list, you already have money in the email list, you just don't know how to do it properly. So I'm going to build your first qualifying email. I only build out one email for them, and it self-segments them like, say, hey, this is why you signed up. This is what I'm solving. Click one of these 3 options and tell me more about yourself. Then from those 3 clicks, I automatically segment my email list into 3 different people. And now I know what kind of content I need to build on social because it tells me my division of how many are in each of the 3 divisions. And then also I can see what kind of keywords that they're clicking on they self-identify with. And then I'm going to use those words in my social media. And then if I have them do call to actions and it's successful, then I put money on it for ad words.
That's interesting. So it's a process. You're saying it's building up to the ads so that when they're spending money, it's actually working.
Exactly. Because what I find is so many people are fooled that they're like, oh, I'm just gonna boost posts because I think I'm gonna make money. But usually people are just not. They're not at that point to know their very specific audience and their interest list to build on Facebook. And so when they enter their Facebook game, they're already losing money. So I'm trying to get them to understand how valuable their organic reach is. And then once they can show repeatable steps with organic reach and growth, then we can turn the fire hose on ads, but not until we figure out all those things.
And are you doing demographic studies with that, Doc? Are you trying to figure out who's responded, who's liked those posts? What?
Yes.
And also, like, are you focusing on?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
So, are you focusing on on cold ads at all? You're just focusing on retargets?
I'm sorry, could you write that down? I'm sorry, I'm missing the most important part. I know you're saying something at the end, but I'm missing your best part. I'm sorry, man.
What I'm asking is, are you just focusing on retargets right now and nothing on cold ads?
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, so I do cold very seldom, but I do retarget first. I do all my retargeting, and then based on their email address, I'll obviously load up and make sure that I'm retargeting either obviously warm leads, and then from seeing their email segmentation and the type of person, then I'll run cold ad based on my best performing warm audience. But yeah, I do that last. And that's because I know you do a lot of cold traffic. When I started, I was terrible at cold traffic because I was so bad at knowing my audience. So every time Facebook kept taking my money. So I had to do retargeting. I would only make money on retargeting. That was it. And that's why I had to do it. But yeah, that's the only problem.
But actually, that's a lot of entrepreneur struggle there. Like that's real life. I mean, a lot of times people don't know their target audience; they just can't nail it.
Yeah, exactly. And Melissa was talking about, are you running social campaigns for your customer? Yes, but usually what I do with my packages, I have 3 different ones. So I do strategy calls, then I do guidance, and then I do assistance in management, and that way I'm always giving my core clients the same exact offering, but now it's at different price points based on their business growth that they can afford. Because usually they can't afford me running their ads, but I can say, hey, guess what? I can either give you an assistant and they'll run it for you, or I will exactly record the call and say, like, these are the strategies. This is how you would load up. This is what you do. And then what another time is like some people have trouble, like they just get really, really, they get scared trying to like install their pixel, do all those things. So I have like, this came out of discovery calls. I now do like packages of basically it's setting up the pixel. Like, here's your first interest group. This is what you would do with your retargeting with your first thing. And that way it's kind of like giving them the right idea and they can see where to go from there. But I'm not managing their campaigns. I'm not doing all those things. And then what I like to do is I kind of just give them like, hey, this is what's working. I give them an audit and I'm like, hey, your team can do it. I'd rather not do it for you. But if I will charge you a lot because I have to manage it for you.
Okay, so do you happen to charge any
real
fee
quick,
as well? No?
Charge them for this session?
Do you charge them any set of fee, or like do after 2 or 3 months?
I am missing that last part. I am sorry. I feel like, for setup fees. Thank you. I am so bad at this. I'm sorry. Only setup fees if I'm installing pixels or if I'm doing anything like that. I will just do a bundle, like a gig. So I only charge for that kind of thing. But not really. So I would just say for installing pixels if they want me to do it. For training purposes, like if they just want to watch videos, I actually then say, hey, I do training videos very specific for your niche. It's going to be $125. And then they just watch that. But usually what I see is they watch the video. They're like, I love that. I want that. I need someone to go do that. So it's kind of like an upsell. It's kind of getting them to understand when a little bit or see where they need to go and then go from there. And how do you're saying, how do I prevent clients from canceling with you after you help them build a winning funnel? Oh, this is a good thing. Most of the clients, they see that I know what I'm talking about and they see that I know the exact steps and they don't want me to go anywhere once I can prove that I can make them money. And it's so easy for them. So usually what I'm doing when I'm pairing my offering, I am really making sure that it is as easy as possible for them to understand what this process is going to happen and why they need to stay with me long term. So I always show, but like I always talk to them from where I started. I learned a lot of this stuff by just watching webinars and taking courses. So I built this for people like me. So I always show them, after this, go ahead and build it. And I can just be with you as a consultant later on. Like, and you can just stay on the consulting package. And that's easier for me to do anyway, because I love talking to people and I'd rather not keep going with their funnel. So I try to put all of that in their driver's seat first. Ty, you were going to say something? Sorry.
Yeah, and I think they like that. It's because they get to, they want to actually be a part of their business. They want to actually be the doers of it. Like when they first had the dream of having the business, they were like, it's going to be great. I'm going to get to do this and I'm going to get to do that. And a lot of the times, if you take that ball out of their court and you just say, I'll do it for you, it's only a matter of time before they're like that mistrust starts to set in and they start feeling like, I don't really know if this is working. Like they feel hands off. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And Alex mentioned like, how long does a relationship with my clients last? Most of my clients, like I've been doing this for 3 years. I have not lost a client yet, only if they've changed their business or shut down. I've never lost a client, but that's because, like Ty was saying, I've given all the power back to them. And what I always felt like when I was dealing with some web developers, they always made me feel like I was being held hostage with my site. And if I left them, it'd be such an arduous process that I would never leave them. And then that just made me more bitter against my web developer because I'm like, I know what he's doing. He's doing all these things. And so here I'm just saying, hey, I'm being really helpful for you. You can leave me anytime. I want to help you and the universe be better, but this is what we're going to be able to accomplish in the next quarter, in the next 6 months, 12 months, and wherever. So when I approach it that way, then they're like, oh, Doc, I'm not going anywhere. And also because the tiers, they can always bump down into strategy after they get what they need. But for the most part, a lot of people just don't want the headache to maintain it. So I don't have a problem with that. Melissa, you mentioned, like, do you charge for the first call? Nah, it's all free. So I do it all free, and I record the funnel that I make in MarketPlan, and I send it to them right after the call. And I'm like, hey, guess what? Love to talk with you. You know what? This is you going out into the world. Be successful. I just made you like $10,000 in like 45 minutes. And every single time I do that, and I give them a link like, hey, next steps are getting on a call so we can close this out. And that's if I don't close it on the initial discovery call. We're done. We're done, and we're off to the races.
So, Doc, are you doing any projections with them when you go through and do these pitches?
Projections of how much they're going to make?
Yeah, like in the projection part of MarketPlan IO, are you actually like kind of putting leads and sales and visitors in there and kind of showing them when you kind of get more in depth into the funnel part, or haven't you kind of got there yet? I know MarketPlan is fairly new, so.
I haven't gotten there, but usually the thing is that I've seen is they're just so blown away just watching this one part. I haven't even had to put in the leads, and they're already sold.
That's awesome.
Like, yeah, like I've never had to do projections, and they're just like, yeah, I need, yeah, like I want this, and then I'm like, cool, let's just do this. I see one. Let's see. How does consulting work with startup? Okay, this is a good question. I work with a couple. And I will get to the close, Melissa. I haven't forgotten about you. The question is like working with consulting for startups. I have found two different things. I've been part of 3 startups now, and it depends. It all depends if they have money or not, right? So if it's bootstrapped, I'm always getting offers. They're like, hey, we'll give you this much equity. I was like, bro, like I don't care about your sweat equity because that's no money to me right now. Like I just want money. Like I don't care about percentages. So it kind of depends if the startup is funded or not. What I usually do for startups is I need to find out if they're cash flow or not, cash flow positive. If they're in conceptual basis, if I really, really, really like them, I'm taking a percentage of their company to do it. Because I'm not even going to have the conversation of them trying to pay me when their, seed run goes through, or when their type, their seed rounds. If I hear one more thing about seed rounds and them not paying me. So I'm sorry, I've gone off a rant. For startups, it works very nicely. But what I've found with startups, they're always trying to haggle the price. So I do not look at trying to get rich off of startups. I only work with startups if I really believe with them, I can really help them, and then long term we can build something. But I am not looking for an instant payout with startups.
Right. It's much more of a long-term strategy with startups. You're not going to get next month's rent paid.
Exactly. So, and I love just talking to startups because they're so like ambitious and they care so much about and they're so energized. I'd rather just help them have a great relationship. And what I do, okay, this is a great strategy. I've gotten clients off of other startups that I haven't been paid from because they knew how useful I was. They will find me paying clients, and then I work with them, and they're my best sprouts sometimes.
Wow, that's awesome.
So sometimes I do consulting work with startups. I'm like, hey, this is just good vibes for the energy, for the universe. I want to help you guys. If you know 3 other companies that have a budget, or that you have a relationship with them, maybe some of your investors, and you think I'm really good, could you do an intro for me? And that's how I make money.
That's pretty good. There's a question up here, Doc. I want you to, I guess everyone wants you to get to the close. They're saying, how did you get to talk about the 5-figure close? Talk about the 5-figure close.
Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so this is what I do. Okay, so after all of this, right, after I confirm, let me go back to my slides.
I think they're talking about, yeah, here Oops says, Doc, can you talk about the 5-figure close? What was in your offer and how did the prospect respond? Like the actual time, like the post that you made on Facebook earlier last week when you said, I just closed, $1,500 a month, prospect with MarketPlan IO.
Okay.
Talk to us about what actually, like, what their response was. I know you talked about the fact that this is the same way you pitch to all of them, but like, how did that particular call go? Talk a little bit more about that.
Okay, sorry about that. So right here, this is the main part, right? After I built out the funnel and I go back to the notes, this is very important. I go back to the notes and I confirm what they were struggling with. So their prison, their dream, and if I solve their struggling point, I make sure they say yes, and they're actually talking back to me, and I get them energized. I say, okay, so this is the solution. How much is this funnel worth to you? And then after they say, well, I can easily make $10,000 off of this. I can do all of these things. Yeah, that's great. I also agree. You see how much this is worth. And this is just the beginning. This is before we really start fine tuning. But I just made you $10,000 right here. So let me tell you what I'm going to be doing today. I take them to my site and I show them exactly like, by the way, this is the toolkit. This is what I do. And this is my fitness section. And I say, okay, we make business made simple. And this is for fitness professional brands because like you just mentioned, I struggle to understand what I need to do with my business. And that's why we built the toolkit for people just like you. Now, what I do with my business is, on top of which, how to start, before you even become a client, I give you a free assessment where you actually take a personality test that I made. And the personality test, it's like a, let's see, what's a good personality test? Give me a name of a personality test.
Of like a personality?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, what do they call it?
The DISC test, is that one?
Thank you, Myers-Briggs. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
So, you're awesome. The thing is, I'll say like it's a Myers-Briggs test for marketers. So they take the assessment, and there are 3 types of marketers, and it's based on their personality. And I say, I'm only building your brand out based on your personality. So I actually do this. I make them take this personality test, and then I'm going to build their funnel. Then from here, this is very important. The reason I'm showing all this is how I close it. I show them my clients and who I've worked with and all the brands. So this is all leveraging to show why I'm worth it. So I'm showing who my client is, why it is impactful for them. Then I show them these are the bigger names that people know, that people in the United States would know, and they're like, oh, he wrote for them, he built their stuff out, okay. Then I show them one of my best clients who was a reality star, all of that stuff. I show them my student stories. Then I show them, okay, this is me. And then right there, I go to my pricing. And from my pricing, I say, guess what? I can start out with my strategy calls and it costs this, but it's only going to be the strategy calls and it's not going to be me doing any work. I just showed you the funnel. I'm only going to talk about the funnel and you do the rest. You get the recordings, all those things. What I see is the best thing that I've seen for people to work, is the guidance package. And it gives you the sequences, the funnels. I build a tech stack that optimizes what you need to do. And I show you how to build your business. What your goal is X, but we're going to 10X that within 12 months. By these frameworks that I'm going to build. And this is what actually has really been the game changer, what people buy. I just do it offhand, but everyone loves the competitor audits. So I go in and I build out their competitors' funnels just to show them what's working. And then I don't just bootleg it. I show them the concept of what made their funnel successful. And then I build those concepts into their funnel. And then from there, I say, that's the guidance package. And then if you need me to actually do something, I have an assistant program where you actually get email ticketing and you're actually getting an assistant from me and you're doing all that. That's $2,300. And then I have an enterprise package where I charge them $6,000 a month. And that's because I'm project managing your business. I'm not taking a percentage of your company. And you just said, I just made you $10,000 on this. I'm only charging you $6,000 a month. So already you're 4K in the black already. And I'm already going to multiply that by 3 if you have a manager.
That's awesome.
That's pretty much. And then right here, I say, get in, inquire. And then right there on the call, I'm like, are you ready to do this? Do you have your credit card out? And then we just buy the package. And if they're like, wait, I got to think about it. Then I'm like, hey, wait a minute. So we just spent 35 minutes talking about your pain point that you've been struggling for the last three years or this many months. We just solved it in 35 minutes. So after you get off this call, what's going to change?
Yeah.
You're just going to go back to the point where you're going to be frustrated and all these things. You have to start investing in yourself, and you see what we're going to do. Let me know when you're ready. And I let them, is everyone on the call that can make the decision for your business? Yes. Okay. So let's talk it out right now so we can do this deal.
Now, was the funnel that you showed earlier, Doc, was that the funnel that you were talking that you converted?
I'll show you the exact funnel that I converted.
Okay.
Hold on one second.
That's awesome, by the way. Really, really like great stuff.
Cool.
Just understanding the pitch better, understanding how to, kind of position yourself as the authority. I think that's a really important one. Guys, everyone needs to know who you are. Don't breeze over that part. They need to know why you care, why you've been able to help others. And even if it's just friends and family at first, if you guys are just getting started with your agency or getting started with something, you just got to say, I know, like my wife, when she started her agency, she did her dad's website first and had her dad as her first testimonial. Do whatever you need to do to make sure that you've got that social credit to be able to, convert that person and say, hey, listen, I've worked with different people in different niches and it seems to be working because we kind of have the same formula. And once people believe in what's called the unique mechanism, and this is something that Todd Brown always taught me. He said, listen, you have to have a unique mechanism. And this is what Doc talked about a little bit. He said, you have to have something unique. You have to have something that someone else is not going to be able to duplicate in your business. Because if you just say, yeah, I'm an agency and yeah, we do agency work, they're going to look and they're going to immediately start comparing you to someone else. But have you ever been on those commercials where they're like, look at this pan, it doesn't stick. And they're like, why doesn't it stick? Well, it's because of this patent pending technology that blah, 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 blah. And they say some sort of stuff that you might not necessarily understand. But for some reason, you believe in your brain that this pan has technology that no one else has. So you're going to buy it. And that's why these as seen on TV things really sell, is because of what's called the unique mechanism. So if you can uniquely position yourself in the marketplace, it's going to change the way people interact with your brand. And I think that's what Doc was really like honing in on,
Right. Yeah. In this section, this doesn't even look like a good funnel. Like, if you look at this, look at what I convert. I have better ones that I do, obviously. Yeah. But this one, the reason this was unique was all we started was them talking about their social media and how they were on the news. It was actually a UFC fighter that has a business in their gym. And basically, they were starting here and they were just wondering why they weren't making money, but they had all these other things. So really all what sold them, honestly, all I did was talk about their struggle, their dream, their roadblocks. And I am not joking. They stopped the call before and they said, I'm going to buy, just letting you know, you can finish this presentation, but I'm already in.
That's awesome.
So I was like, oh, okay, that's great. So I built it out just to show them what the options were. It was not anything crazy. All I'm building is exactly what they need to hear at the time. I'm not trying to wow them by how technical or how big the funnel looks. If they can clearly see their problem being shown to them right here, that's all they need. That's all they need. So so
you're just kind of showing them where the bottlenecks are. This is where your social plan is. but did you understand that if you were to write these blogs and you're just kind of taking them around and saying, you've got to leverage these pieces together? Is that pretty much the thought process, Doc?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So
I think it's all about just visualizing your problems.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly right. So, I mean, that's pretty much why I did it. And I believe someone in the comment mentioned talking about, and you did, I think they're talking to you, talking about their web designer. And my business is 100% web design and brands. We do not go to the funnel aspect. Do you think this app will help to make a new area of the business? I think so. Do you see that?
I think we'll leave that question to Ty, because I think he'll be So Ty, you want to answer?
I would say if you're a web designer, it's definitely something that I think you should make your prospects aware of. Websites are incredible for what they are good at. If you're doing something like, I'll give you an example. We had like an expert witness that we did a site for recently here. And he literally said to us, please, I don't need any more clients. I just need a place for those clients to go and see what I'm doing, who I am and who my team is. And so that was a really weird thing to come across as someone that said, I don't want more clients. I literally have clients off the wazoo. So that he was just, word of mouth was just going everywhere. He's an expert witness here in Florida. And he was just saying, like, if you add more business to me, I'm going to have to tell them no. So just make me a website. And websites are great for things like that. It's great for showing like who we are, what our team is, where we are. But really, every single website is a funnel. In some way, it is a funnel. Even if it is just a utilitarian thing, it always goes to a next step. A website is a funnel. But what a funnel is essentially is taking all of the CTAs, all of the calls to action, and building it based on one call to action. Like, they say all the time in marketing, they say, listen, you have 7 inches and 4 seconds to make a first impression. So the goal is, like, when somebody sees like your website, they haven't even scrolled down. If you've got your most interesting pieces of data, your most interesting pieces of like what you're doing, kind of not above the fold, if you don't have that one call to action right there that says book a call or get a free trial or whatever your product or your service that you're offering, you have to be able to say, do this, take this one action now. And you may have some menu items, but those menu items are all geared towards that one particular, action. What am I going to do? So for instance, like when we sell Conversion Fly, we tell people the first thing is we have four links on there: features, pricing, and then we have get a free trial, get your free trial. And then what do? They scroll down and they see get a demo. And we have all these different CTAs that we want them to say, okay, well, if you didn't see the first button and you watch the video and the video said grab your free trial, you still haven't done that, then maybe my second CTA comes up. But what a lot of people do with websites is they have the about and the contact us and all of these things. And what that does is that can really distract from the main focus. And that's where funnel marketing comes in, Eduardo, so that funnel marketing is basically geared towards one call to action. It's kind of the difference between Walmart, if you're familiar with Walmart, or let's say McDonald's, and maybe like Chipotle. Chipotle is like a restaurant here in America. They only sell 3 things. When you walk in the door, you can either get a burrito, you can get a bowl, or you can get a quesadilla. That's literally it. Those are three things that you can get, and they're selling millions of dollars of product because of how simple, and it's a funnel. You walk in the door, you tell them what you want, you walk right out, and you've got it in 5 minutes. And people love this style of business because it helps them. People don't want to make choices between a million options. They want to know what action you want them to take. And that's where web designing meets funnel marketing, because you can actually start designing and split testing pages against one another, understanding, wait, hey, what made this person actually do what my prospect wanted? Eduardo, if you're building a website for a business, they want it to convert. I'll tell you that right now. They want it to convert. They don't just necessarily want you to build them a site that just is a digital representation of themselves. Sometimes you run into that, like I said earlier with that expert witness case. So you can build a generic website, but most of the time you have to start to get into funnel marketing, because you're going to lose that client over time if you just build a website. A lot of times with website marketing, they want you to to just build them a website one time and then they'll never want to see you again. With funnel marketing, they want you to optimize that funnel, and that's where you can begin capitalizing on those marketing experiences and those client relationships to be able to leverage those, for the future. Hopefully that answers.
And just to add to that, what I feel is that if you start offering helping your clients to actually build those funnel designs as well, and different kinds of funnels where you can really start split testing them. So for example, if they don't buy this, then you try to offer them some kind of other upsell, right? So if you start incorporating those to your clients, and if they're able to see the results, they would end up paying you more, because ultimately it all comes down to ROI. So if they're putting in $100 into you, and if they're able to make back $200, they'll put back another $200, and you make, and that's how you just keep making more money from the same client that you have already acquired.
That's it.
Awesome.
Just looking through some questions here. Does MarketPlan actually implement the funnel, or is it just a tool for planning the funnel? So, that's a really interesting question. Is it Osazemi? Either one of those. Well, it actually is an implementation, but it's implementation not like you think. A lot of people think that, MarketPlan allows you to build funnels. Even though it allows you to use your favorite page builder inside there, what we try to do is help teams and marketers be able to keep themselves accountable with the execution. So yes, it is an implementation tool. We believe that it will help people actually, with that particular implementation. So it goes all the way from, the actual planning, the mapping out and planning, then the execution of the plan, which means you can now create to-do lists and go through there and start implementing. But what we do is we allow you to actually build these ways of, like, imagine if you just had like a strategy board, if you were going to war, and you were to say, okay, like this part of the army is going to come from here, and then this part of the army is going to come from here, and you're putting your strategy board down. It's basically like a football team or a soccer team studying the other team and deciding what plays or what formations they're going to be in. And so you've got to be able to do this in marketing. And so, yes, as far as the implementation, the implementing of the funnels, it's not a funnel builder, but it is part of the implementation process. And it allows you to not just plan, but like I said, plan, map out, and then implement. And then it allows you to do projecting, which means allows you to see how much you're going to be able to break even or become profitable based on your ad spend. And then with live mode, be able to actually live optimize whenever you are ready with that funnel and you can set it live. You can go ahead and start allowing that funnel to see real traffic come through and understand where those real bottlenecks are, so that you can kind of see, okay, here's the strategy versus real life. And now that we're in real life, we probably need to move the plan around and be able to optimize and, flow with what's real in the real world.
That's brilliant.
Looking through these.
Okay, so this is another question from Dan. Do you show us how to do social media ROI, event, and email tracking? Right?
Where's that? Show us how to do social media ROI, event tracking. Is that with the social planner?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, sure. Let me share my screen.
Stop sharing.
Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
I don't see it yet.
Not yet.
Okay, hold on. How's that?
I'm seeing a loading.
Nope. Failed for some reason.
Okay, hold on. Let me start the screen share.
I think you might have to refresh once.
Okay. Is that better?
It's still loading. Oh, there you go.
Got it now. Okay,
cool. Okay, yeah. So when you're using the social planner was created to be able to keep the team congruent. If I'm honest, I'm a little selfish with this particular module, because this was kind of the pain point of our business. Is we really needed a social planner. There are a lot of tools out there that let you kind of schedule posts and do all those things. And we've actually bought like 4 of them as a lifetime deal. But really, like, none of them allowed us to actually plan and actually like assign tasks just for the social plan. So the way I normally approach it is I normally just try to find out, firstly, I have several social plans in our funnels. So sometimes I just have, I'll talk about this as just like a, recurring. This is the stuff that we just want to, we want to keep going. We want to maybe cycle through a bunch of posts. We want to just talk about the things that we plan to do. And then what is the goal of this? This is just engagement. This is just to make sure that our account, stays active and that, things are going. So what we'll do is we'll drag all of the, let's say for instance, with MarketPlan.io, we have a Facebook account, we have an Instagram account, and let's say we have a YouTube account. And so we'll drag all of these in. And then what we'll do is we'll just start, as you can see, every time when you click off of this, the checklists are gone. The moment you click onto YouTube, you've got your checklist and you've got your comments. And so what we'll do is with my team is I will just come in here and say, okay, well, on YouTube, we want to make a video that is, and, I'll just kind of talk about what that video is. So we're talking about, okay, so the next video that we're planning on doing for our YouTube channel is, maybe a question that we've been having inside of our Facebook group, or maybe something that someone would want to search, like, how to, map out your funnels. So that will be one that we're going to do. And then I'll add that to the list. And then what I'll do is I'll assign either myself. This project doesn't have any of the users. This is a demo project. So let's say I assign that to myself. Now you would see here that there's a 1 here because I'm actually assigned to this YouTube account. So I know I've got to make this video. What I could do is, let's say, for instance, if I needed the graphics, the graphics done for someone else, I could always assign that to someone else. But now you can see that as I start to get things done, I can see that that's now 50% done. And you can see here in my social plan that I've got 50% right on here. So when I'm visualizing here the different areas of my social plan, I can see, okay, with YouTube, I've got something that's in my court right here. And at the same time, it's 50%. It is 50%. So I'm almost done with this. Or if there's only 2 items on here, and 1 is assigned to me, I'm almost done. Now, if I go outside of here, you'll see here that this is also 50%, and that's because there's only that many tasks. So I can see that on my recurring stuff. Let's say for my Facebook post, I wanted to, like, let's say for instance, 3 posts, a week. Let's say for instance. And this is part of, just like a recurring thing that we would kind of uncheck every time, just come back in here and just when it's done for the week, we know it's good. When it, coming back, just mark as doing again and come back to that. Now you'll see here, this changes to 33%, but over here, we still have 50% and 0%. So it's very linear, like very showing you, and you can see here, nothing for me here because I haven't assigned it to myself. And when it's assigned to a team member, I'm not going to see anything from me. So I know, cool, my team is working on what's going on with Facebook right now. Instagram is good. We're all good to go. And YouTube has something for me. The moment I were to, mark it as done, I would see that that's 100% done. Like I said, so I can mark it as doing. I can take myself and assign it to another member, put the ball in their court. And then I can, make at mentions and comments about that too. So, like I said, with that, what I'll normally do is, and then again, this is for my team, for my niche, I'm in the SaaS industry. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a plan that my whole team can work alongside. So along all of the way, we're busy commenting and we're using at mentions. Let's say I mention myself. It'll always be red if it's you. You get an at mention, and you'll see those mentions come through here, right here inside of the you'll see like a little red dot here. You also get a browser notification that comes up and says, hey, this is what's going on. And the moment I hit view, like I'll give you an example, right here, Tyler Winner assigned an item to you inside of Conversion Blog. When I hit view, I'm going to actually get taken into that particular plan, and it's going to actually take me into that particular piece, and then I'm going to actually see here, replace the feature images with the new logo. So that's what's been actually assigned to me. You can see Tyler here, and you can see how we work. So the moment we, if I wanted to assign this to someone else, I could assign this to someone else on the team and be able to have that person notified about that. and, what needs to be done. So checklists, I can come in here, I can, chat Tyler and say, hey, Tyler, can you elaborate? If I need him to chat with me over there, I would basically do that. I can actually edit the comment if I need to. I can actually edit the, the checklist items if I need to. So everything's very editable. You can move backwards. You can reorder these if you want. So based on priority as you would like to reorder them. So we try to do this in every single app. Like I said, this is the blog, app. And so we know, okay, how to, how the funnel alone isn't enough to convert. I can say, let me write this. I can see, okay, how the funnel isn't enough to convert. What keywords are we going, for? Maybe we're doing, convert, the word converting funnels or something like that. I could say, this is the word we're going for, and then be able to just keep the environment as it is. And this is why we made these made for marketing mini apps, is because we believe that everything's contextual, and we've been for the last few years approaching our marketing as everything is a Trello board. Everything is done the same way. And it's confusing to look at it in that way, because that's not how we interact with that piece of media. And so, like I said, we've done things from, being able to come in here and edit. Let's say, for instance, this is the conversion fly. Let's say I'm trying to look for, here we go. Let me come here, conversionfly.com/blog. And we'll go here and take this particular conversion rate blog that we have, and we'll just take that and we'll put it inside of the actual URL here, hit view, and now I'm viewing the actual blog post here. I can actually read it. I can, if I want to, put some notes on this, I can bring up the notes module. I can actually write my copy right here. And it's cool because if I do it this way, and this is what we thought would be a great feature, is being able to, say, okay, let's say, for instance, I'm on this particular one, I'm in writing. So I go to write mode, and I'm just have a clean white space to be able to write my funnels. And so being able to do that, just being able to just say, hey, this is my blog, and then be able to save that. And then when I'm actually in edit mode, I can actually, view those notes right here. And it says, it's got my copy right there. So we thought of the process by which people would be having to do things like this. But like I said, in regards to how we do the social plan, you can see here with this particular funnel how it goes. From the landing page, we're grabbing our leads, we're taking them to an email sequence, we're taking them then to the sales page, then we're going to the order page, then we're going to the upsell, then we have this confirmation page, and every single other thing that we do, including the blog right here, which is the Conversion Fly blog. Our chat sequences or our chat software that's going to be on top of that blog, that's maybe going to give them a survey or do something that we are able to do, and then be able to, again, run these projections and being able to see, how these projections are going to work for us in the long run. And so we've gone through the ads and how we're going to go about doing it. We plan on doing, more, but again, this is the demo that I originally showed actually Aaron. This is the first call I ever did with Aaron and Judith, showing them how MarketPlan works. So this is how it would end up being. This is how you would end up building the funnel out and leveraging it. But for the social plan, just to come back to that for 1 second, you've just got to make sure that you can rename these pieces. You can, like I said, come here, grab a custom one. If you don't have, if you're not using any of these ones, YouTube, Pinterest, or whatever, let's say you're using, Reddit, you can, grab here and just say, Reddit, you grab that icon, and, I think, what are they, like orange or something like that? And you could just choose that, and then, hit the save button right here. And there we go. You've got your Reddit account. And then be able to also put in your link. So the link to your Reddit account would be right here, which would be really great, because what that allows you to do is really get, go to the page right now. Like if I were to go to the Facebook page, if I had the link inside here, I could actually go to that page and start actually scheduling my posts and start actually putting the content inside of it. Hopefully that makes sense, guys.
I think that was a massive knowledge bomb right there.
Oh, really? Awesome.
All right. So, all right, guys, do you have any questions for Ty or you have any questions for Doc or me, just leave your questions below. Make sure you do not take it asking to someone else or just thinking, why didn't I answer? Or just don't be shy. Just go ahead and ask your questions. Just make sure that whatever you're learning, that you implement. That's very important. Take action. Just take action.
Yeah,
that's
huge.
all
that's
is required.
I see here,
if you do that,
Melissa asked. Oh, sorry, Edith.
No, sorry, go ahead. So, so let me actually read the question for you. So, Melissa is asking, can social be measured in projection and live? Right?
Yes, actually it can. So let me share my screen again because I want to make sure everybody gets this. Let me know if you guys can see it. And there it is. Should be there. Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So yeah, inside of my social plan, I can actually come in here and make a link for my Facebook account. So there's multiple links that I can make. So for instance, if I'm planning on doing a Facebook post today and I actually want to measure that in live mode, I'll come here, create a new link. I would, shoot the destination URL. Now it knows what pages it's already been connected to. So if it is one of the pages in your funnel, you'll see them right here, but you don't have to put those particular pages in. And as you can see here, it knows the blog page right here. It also knows if you've got the code on these pages, whenever we get live mode up and running, you're going to be able to say, yeah, I definitely want to go to, let's say, for instance, this landing page, MarketPlan.io. So I want to go there. I can actually say, what is the campaign source? I could say, this is Facebook. I can edit any of the mediums, the names, the terms, the content, just like I would a regular UTM parameter. You guys can study up what UTMs are and how to be able to name these. People use these for different things in their organizations. So don't be intimidated by all these fields. You can use them for whatever you want. Really what we're looking for is the campaign name and the source. And we're also looking for the content. So let's say, for instance, this was like a free, PDF that I was giving away. And so I'm going to create that link. Oh, it's telling me I got to name it. Sometimes people forget we have that big light. So let's say, for instance, this is just going to be free PDF. And if it's a social post, I would suggest you were to put, the date. So let's just say it's, May, let's say, 27th, 2018. And so then you're going to go ahead and create that link. And here you're going to be able to copy that link. And once you've copied the link, you can go over to your Facebook account and use this particular link right here as the link that you're going to be able to measure how much engagement you were able to get later. So it's really neat. And like I said, here I can always just, if I'm searching, I can search my links right here to be able to make sure I can copy them again if I ever want to just use that again. Sometimes, what we normally do is, because we don't like the fact that we don't want to make a link for every single date. What we'll do is we'll go back in here and we'll just say anything that is free PDF. We just want to make sure so we would basically just search, free PDF, come over here, copy that link, and always be able to measure that link over time. It really depends on your workflow and what it is you're trying to measure. Because remember, with live mode, you're going to be able to, grab this, this week, 7 days, 14 days. So if you're reusing a post, let's say, for instance, like I just made over there, and I'm saying I'm going to give away the free PDF again, and let's say I just want to measure how much engagement I had on the last 30 days, this whole funnel is going to then change, showing me how much engagement that particular link had in the last 30 days. And so maybe some of that data will be from a previous post, maybe 2 months ago or whatever, but the likelihood of that is very low. So we don't tend to do that as a business. What we tend to do is be able to really make sure that these links are being measured within their time periods, unless they're ads. And that's why with ads, just to kind of make a definite variation, here's an example of an ad that actually has an image inside. It has the copy inside. It has a budget. It has, a live budget of a monthly budget of $40. And then we coming into this edit link, and we're going to make a link out of it. You can only make one link per ad. So just keep that in mind. And when you copy this link, or when you hit your view ad, You can then edit, open up your ad, like actually in a new tab right here. You can see this ad running live. It actually links to the particular Facebook ad and opens it up on the right without me doing anything. It opens up so I don't have to muddle through all this Facebook menu stuff. I can just go straight to the ad, what it's regarding. I can actually just say, come over here to this image, and I can just right click the image and just say, copy the image address, and then basically come back here into MarketPlan.io and put your image address right here, your media URL right there, and just go ahead and you view it, you see it. You can actually measure one particular link and be able to, like I said, leverage the links as live mode gets ready to come forward. And so I saw, Melissa, also you asked a question about the live mode and when it would be ready. Yeah, December is when we're going to start rolling out live mode. And so I think, for analytics, we always have to get better. We have to test this in the real world. So just be expecting the first version of live mode in December. We have to see how people are going to be responding to this inside of the MarketPlan.io user group. We're going to be finding out from you guys, what are your frustrations? Because I have it in my brain how I think most people are going to use it. But trust me right now, having a little bit of experience in the SaaS world, it's never real life ready until you actually give it to some people to try it out in their business. And so we're waiting to hear back from you guys so that we can optimize that. And so, yes, the version that I have in my head is we're going to be ready at around, mid-December towards the end of December. So we're making sure I don't want to overpromise anything, but I want to make sure we deliver exactly what you guys need, for that.
Okay, brilliant. So, Doc, I have one question. Okay, so Doc, I have one question for you. Which is your best medium online to acquire leads?
Best medium? It's probably going to be emails.
Cold outreach?
Yeah, cold email. Yeah. Well, that again, it's like it's the intro. So cold leads. It kind of depends. For my industry, it's Instagram and Facebook. But the thing is, Instagram has a barrier that I've seen that if I'm talking to someone on Instagram, I can only make a certain amount based on my demographic and based on that platform. What I mean by that is, what I've seen is I'm looking for the $1,500 mark, something like that. On Instagram, I can sell things about $250, like $100, $250. But my clientele just doesn't translate to be the like $1,500 mark on that platform. So it depends. If I'm selling courses or really like finite products, it's going to be Instagram. For larger amounts, I would definitely do Facebook. But my biggest one, like emails, if I know someone that like I'm in their ecosystem, I reach out to them, it's still email. I can still sell the most on email.
That's brilliant. So that leads to like the next question. So whenever you, have you ever tried to reverse engineer any of your potential prospects funnel? You make a research, you prepare their marketing funnel inside, let's say, MarketPlan, and then record a quick video and then reach out to them and pitch for a $2,500 to $5,000 monthly plan. Have you tried, consider doing that? It's a huge risk.
That's
I know.
Awesome. I wish I thought of that last week. That's really good. I really should start doing that with MarketPlan. I've done it in the past without MarketPlan, but yeah, I think it will be even more successful. You know what? I'm glad that, yes. Okay, so yes. In the short answer, actually one of my clients last week, they asked me to so I managed their account. They asked me to build out a workthrough of what a client they want. I was building out on Instagram what they have and what they're not doing. So in a way, I just haven't done it fully on MarketPlan, but like say, for instance, on Instagram, they just they're not tracking their links. They're not sending their traffic to a landing page. And so actually next week, we're going to be pitching 3 clients that way. So yeah, But I didn't do it on MarketPlan, so I'm gonna have to do that now.
No, because let's say like right now you're charging them $1,400 and you're building it, and when you are actually prepared and then you're pitching them, maybe you could turn it into 3x than what it was earlier, because the person will actually feel like you have put in all the required efforts upfront and then you are pitching them. But
Yeah, I
then,
love that.
but then how are you going to mitigate the risk of them saying no? Because you would have put in a lot of time in like really building out their funnel strategies and everything, and how you can really point out like how they can improvise their funnel using MarketPlan. Like how are you going to try to mitigate that risk?
The main thing is that I have seen with just when I've been marketing is it's all emotion. Like, even though like for them to buy or for them not to like it, I feel that I have to make sure that they're buying into me or buying into my process and I'm changing their life. So if I'm decreasing their stress, if I'm doing something emotionally to them, they're going to stay with me. If I go out and I just show them like the zeros and O's of it, I am going to, it's a crapshoot. They could lose, they could not use me or not. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get them emotionally invested in my idea or my process.
Yes. Right.
And once I've got them there, it's game over. If I see them like they feel the pain, they know like this is so much easier, or they get so much time more of their day, or they don't have to worry about something, I've got them. So as long as I can do that, that's the only thing I'm thinking about.
That's good. That's good.
What are your thoughts on this side?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
No, so I want the same question is for Ty as well. Like, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think I totally agree with what Doc is saying. And, I talked about that in the first webinar. It's, firstly, relationship is first. People want to know that they have a buddy. The hardest thing about marketing is doing it by yourself. And, that's why a lot of people lose steam. And so, a lot of times what I used to do back in the day when I never had anybody who liked to market, I would just invite friends over and I'd try to see if I talked about it enough, if they would like it. Like, hey, let's try something together, please, because I really just need someone to be here. And it's a lot of like what Doc is saying, the emotional support of it that really actually helps. And it's not a manipulative thing. It's not a manipulative thing to say, hey, I'm here. And like, listen, we failed, but we're gonna pick up, and they need that. The entrepreneur needs that, and they need someone to say, like, listen, a lot of good things happen, especially like when they fail. A lot of times, a lot of people will lose customers and lose clients if they fail. Like, let's say, for instance, you run a campaign, you run a sequence for them, and it wasn't the way that they expected it to go. Well, it's your job to now talk to them about why it didn't go that way. And it's your job to be able to say, listen, and even like sometimes I've been able to even take responsibility for certain things. You know what? I never thought of that, and I apologize for that. And we're figuring this out together. And the moment you start saying that and saying they know that you're a person and that you're not, like you say, like Doc was saying, that you're not just going, well, I did my best and I charged you my money, so here's your invoice. The best thing to say is, hey, man, I'm so sorry that this has happened. I mean, I think the big thing that we have to get used to is the fact that we got to get up and do it again. Because, like, listen, if you fail, let's fail fast and let's figure it out. Because once we get this on the line, we're going to get it. And then just say to them, ask them questions in regards to how to make it better. And then say to them, you know what I think we didn't do, and then talk about that and utilize new strategy. And, you can kind of just use analogies and say to them, like, listen, the battle was lost, but the war is not over. There's another field. There's another place. There's another client out there. There's another person that's gonna want this product. And we didn't hit the home run right now, but we will get to that place. And like, listen, let's do it together. And more times than not, unless they're like what Doc said, unless they're ready to get out of the business and they're just like, I'm done, they'll just be like, what do we do next? If you have the relationship with them, they're gonna say, what do we do next? Because actually, you will become more of a security blanket to them. Even though you're doing what Doc said, you're trying to just say, like, honestly, like, the ball's in your court. listen, if you don't need me anymore, that's fine. They'll say, no, we need you. Like, we want you. They'll be like ready to like give you the opportunity to like, please be here. Like, you not being here is going to be very bad for us. Doc, I'm sure you're here. You've heard this. Am I right?
Yeah. Even clients like that they swear that they hate me, and then I've like said like, no, we're done. They'll be like, you suck, but could we stay together? Could we do another project? I'm like, no. But it's true.
That's it. Because they know that you have the knowledge. They know you come from a place of understanding the market and understanding what makes conversions happen. And when you position yourself as not this keeper of all their keys, oh, I'm holding all your keys, that's when they start getting insecure and they start grabbing the stuff from you and saying, give my website back. Can you send me my hosting, password? Send me this, send me that. I need everything. You're done, They start feeling insecure in those environments. When you say to them, hey, listen, everything's yours. I'm here to be your friend, be your assistant. I'm here to market with you. Then they feel like, man, you're in the car with me, and I'm kind of like that first-time driver in driver's ed. You've got the brakes, but I got the steering wheel kind of thing. And then they feel like, okay, cool, like I could actually maybe drive this. And you know what? As convinced as they are that maybe they won't need you one day, they're going to need you more and more as the process unravels. Like what Doc was saying, you don't solve all their problems in one day. If you try to come to them and say, this is what we're going to do, and you build the most elaborate funnel ever, they're going to go, I don't think that's for me. They just need one thing right now. They're struggling with leads. Maybe they're going to struggle with sales after that. Maybe they're going to struggle with their funnel building. Maybe they're going to struggle with all these different kinds of things that we have to do, their social media outreach, their engagement. They're going to struggle with their event handling. They're going to struggle with all these things that they're doing. And when you are just this plethora of knowledge and ability and vision casting, when you've got to bring the joy into the room, you've got to bring the happiness. They are so depressed. They're so ready to give up. They have no morale. And when you walk in the door, you say, we're going to make money. You say, we're going to do this. It's going to be great. Their morale, just you being around is going to be the thing that's like, I need to have more conversations with Ty or with Doc or with Judith. I need to, or with Alex or with Sean. I got to have more conversations with them, because if I have more conversations with them, I feel better. I feel like I can actually do this. I feel like I actually have the steam and the stamina. And so, like Doc, I think you hit it on the nail on the head. The best scenario that you can be in is building out these funnels and things for them, but then letting them into the driver's seat and then keeping them accountable. That's the reason why we created the ability for you to actually add clients as like users, but not necessarily admins in MarketPlan, because we knew that there were a lot of users that, or people that wanted their clients to work alongside them to be able to accomplish their dreams. And we feel like, that's evolving, and that's something that should evolve, and we should be able to actually train them, and they should have a knowledge. And you know what? If you build a professional, marketer out of them, well, great. You've done, like you said, Doc, you've done the universe, or you've done people, and you've done, for mankind, something great. You've done something that's good for them and for their business. If they could take the reins of their business, man, you've done the best thing that you could for that person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Could I mention one thing? First of all, Ty, I love that. That was so. All of my ramblings encapsulated. It makes so much sense. The one question I see this about Sean talking about time wasters. Can I just mention one thing about that? Time wasters, what I've seen is if you put a barrier, you can quickly ascertain who's the right ones, right? So I always say, like, if they have the willingness or ability to pay, that's from Ramit Sethi. If you qualify them, they're either going to step up to the plate or not. And if they're not a time waster, if they're paying you what you're worth. So if you're saying, hey, cool, that's great, this is X amount to explore this option, real quick, time wasters go away. Right. Or if you have resources, if you're like, oh, I talked about this on a YouTube video, here you go. That's all, like, this is worth this amount. If you want to, go past that, you can get on consulting, or I charge this much for, project overview or something like that, because then they're going to quickly stop asking you questions when you qualify them to do something else. And most time wasters don't want to do anything. They just want to ask questions. So if you give them something to do, usually you won't hear from them again.
That's right. And I think that's the best thing about, trying to find out how you can work with them, Doc, like we were just talking about, because if you're going to do all of their work, then you're pretty much becoming their marketer. And then you should probably get being paid, 6 figures, at that point. And you have to make sure to, like you said, cut off what you are available to do, because I think that's the way we always try to just we use that term hustle, hustle, do whatever it takes, and then you've got 5 clients, but you can never scale from that perspective, because whatever you're offering your clients is like full tilt, like the whole deal. Like, just don't give the whole deal. Compartmentalize it, put it in pieces, and make it available for a particular price. I love that.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. So, Doc, if you just want to give one advice to all everyone out there who is just struggling to scale up, or who is just struggling to close that deal and hit that next figure mark, what would that one advice would be?
Just do it. The thing is, it's not going to be perfect the first time you do it. You're the best in your field, or you're getting there. You've got to put it out there. When you're paralyzed and don't do anything, you're not going to know how to actually get that one big fish. So you just have to execute. So having MarketPlan, you're actually given the tools to show your expertise. So try to do that and then learn from that experience. And what I suggest is, after you do it, if it's okay with the person, ask for their approval. I record all of the calls so I can be better at it later on. So get out there, do it, and you've got all of the pieces right there. And think about this. If you don't do it, a worse marketer will find your leads and do it for you. Or maybe a better one will find that lead anyway and close it before you too. So if you paralyze and you don't do anything, you're losing out. And it was so impactful, you'd have just left.
Yeah, come on. That came right out. Melissa, just to answer this question a little bit more, they will not be white label videos. But what we are trying to explore right now, if you make them an admin, they can see the MarketPlan videos. If you're trying to get away from that branding side of it, Melissa, we would suggest creating your own videos and maybe hosting them somewhere. But what we really plan to do is try to figure out how we're going to be able to incorporate your own chat system. Like if you're going to use Intercom or, Customerly or any of those, Judith was talking to me about possibly, and we're trying to listen into the feature request board for this particularly, but being able to put your own pixel inside of there. There we go. So that would be really helpful for this, so they can have direct contact with you. We do know that, so just so you know, I don't know if you've been leveraging this or not, but there is a chat system inside of MarketPlan.io. So that will really help there too, is just have them reach out to you inside of the chat. I'm not sure are you familiar with that, Melissa? The chat inside of there, have your prospects been using that? Okay, can we see a demo of the chat system? Okay, let me do that real quick. There's so much, so many different features in MarketPlan.io. It's sometimes hard. So on every single screen in MarketPlan.io, can you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. On every screen inside of MarketPlan.io, we've got this little tab right here. If you were just click that, you're going to have all the conversations that you need to have right here. So if you just say new conversation, you can name the conversation if you want, or if you just click on one of these people, you can start a chat with them. If you click, 2 of them, and you, like I said, you can name the conversation whatever you want. If it's dev, or like you see here, I've got flock down. We've got I've got Tyler here. I can kind of message him, just say hey, what's up, and then he gets a notification about that. So what we do is I leave this window open, and then, like I said, when he responds, normally I get that browser notification, to be able to, there we go. So there he is. And I get that little sound to be able to see him right there. And like I said, I can always add people to the chat. I can always, come out and create new conversations. And like I said, this will be something that you'll see a little like red mark here if I get a chat that's kind of out of time. I'll see the notification in Flock. Not in Flock, on Chrome or on Safari, or actually I know we had a post recently here that was talking about us being able to do it in Firefox. So our developer actually just released Firefox, and so we're waiting to hear back from people that love Firefox as to how they're going to be able to use that. So yeah, that's the chat feature inside of MarketPlan.io, and so I hope that you enjoy it, and let us know. Do you think you're able to add a GUI that can have more brighter colors? What do you mean as far as do you think you're able to have a graphic UI? Yeah. So what we try to do is we try to make it so that the MarketPlan.io. Let me go here. You guys can still see my screen. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So we try to make it as flat as possible because we have all these colors. Trust me when I say when I built the graphic UI, I try to build it as colorful as I could. This all used to be like this giant purple. When we did that, the app just started to look overly purplish, like very overly purplish. And it wasn't actually clear when we started introducing some of these other colors. It started getting very it started to look, if I'm honest, it didn't look professional. It didn't look great. So what we chose to do is like the pops of color and go with kind of the other way. It doesn't mean that we're going to not go with like a white or like a gray or like anything like that, but we really try to keep things as monotone so that when you actually have these sequences, these are the things that are popping out to you in your workflow. And so a lot of what we did was, although it was very intentional to be graphically pretty, we also made sure that we really wanted it to be like a signifying piece that would actually be able to not a lot of the pieces, only the ad set was red. I'll give you an example. And that's because we have these red notifications that show up everywhere in these red X's. And so we wanted to make sure that the reason we positioned the ad set this way was because when you drag an ad set in, you can actually change the color based on, it's Instagram, it's Pinterest. We knew that you would need these colors. So that's why the ad set by itself, I can literally come in here, pick a color, and just choose, here's my brown ad set, here's my turquoise ad set. And so be able to set the ad set as you'd like it, and then be able to introduce that because of the notification. So we had to think in mind, keeping inside the fact that this is a productivity tool, as well as a live optimization tool, as well as a mapping and, projection tool. So you see here the projections. These are set because, green is revenue and red. So everything it was thought out with the person in mind. Hopefully that makes sense. Rohit. So here we go. Oops said clients love the pop of color. Right. Yeah, exactly. Another thing was the windows which take up the whole screen. Okay, right. So we've noticed that a lot of people have been having this particular request inside of our support. They're saying that, hey, why do these take up the whole screen? The answer for that is it's very simple, because they are actually mini applications. They are applications. And so what we're finding, and we say this to people a lot, if you're unable to kind of view that, we suggest that you would just kind of lower your window, be able to just kind of come over to, just lower the window size of the webinar so that you can, be able to, leverage that. I don't even know what's happened to my screen right now, but anyway. Hold on, let me see.
I think
what is happening.
I think it's kind of like zoomed in completely.
I'm trying to zoom out, but it's not. Hold on, let me stop sharing. Maybe that's the reason. There we go.
Yeah, I think just
okay.
reshare.
Yeah, let me see if I can. It's not even zoomed in Chrome. That's the weirdest part. Anyway, you want to go on to the next question, Judith, while we go?
All right. So the next question is from Lewis. Hi from Portugal. Is it possible to have a big idea of everything, like a dashboard with every task, notes, and funnel? That?
What does that mean? Do you understand what that means, Judith? Innately?
I think he's probably asking like, can I have like can I just design everything inside MarketPlan? So I think that's probably the question. And I think you can already write notes, you can take your tasks, you can already build your funnels, you can already do all those things, Lewis.
Right. So you can do everything that's needed there. What we try to do is, like I said, be able to put every single part of the marketer's world. And as the marketer's world evolves, be expecting new modules, because we get frustrated at most of the times when we're trying to get set up, with our marketing. So when we see a new tool that becomes an industry standard, we're definitely going to be adding those pieces in, So just be on the lookout for that too.
Okay, brilliant. So a lot of people are actually asking about templates. So can you just let everyone know and pop out that cherry? When is it coming out?
So yeah, sure. So definitely right. So we're actually working on that actively. We want to make sure that we really get it right. Right now, it actually works on tablet. If you're using Chrome on a tablet, or if you're using an iPad, it actually works. You're able to drag things, you're able to view inside, but it's the mini apps that are really the problem, because of the sidebar and because of the checklists and all the things that make it what it is. So we're trying to get that together. Another thing is we're also waiting for Apple to release the ability for PWAs, or progressive web apps, to actually have notifications. We think this is going to be a critical part. When I say we're waiting, everybody says that it will be out in 2018. I think it's going to be somewhere between, somewhere around 2019 that we're going to see that shift. Apple has already provisioned PWAs for what they do, what they're able to do. They've already, positioned it and got it all able to work. It's just the notifications that don't work. So that's kind of why we're, in that position of just kind of waiting right now. So hopefully that makes sense.
So there's another question for you, from Rob. Ty, if a client falls in love with a MarketPlan, do we have access to the referral program for them to use with their team? This way we join their MarketPlan account as admin,
right,
versus you want me to repeat the question there?
Sorry, you cut out there for a second. You did.
Okay. I'll just repeat the question. So if a client falls in love with MarketPlan, do we have access to the referral program for them to use with their team? This way we join their MarketPlan account as an admin. Boss is just taking them to see on ours. Exactly. Makes sense. So yeah. All right, Ty, what do you think?
Yeah, so just sign up. We definitely have the ability to, and are going to be looking out that affiliate program. So be on the lookout for that. What we're doing is what we first decided to launch on PitchGround, just because, like you had said in the first video that we ever did, I was like, I don't know about doing a lifetime deal. And then he was like, do a lifetime deal. It's going to be the best thing. And so it's been an amazing ride. We've enjoyed it so much. But yes, our absolute next step is to be able to launch. We've actually already got our affiliate program up and running. It's already there. And so be on the lookout in your email. We're going to, ask you guys to be our task force. We're going to ask you to be the main word spreaders and even benefiters of that. And we'll be actually a recurring commission on the monthly plans and even the annual plans as well. So we're really excited about that. And so be on the lookout for that, because that's really coming here soon.
Oh, we lost him for a second.
Oh, did we lose Udit?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I actually think for some reason my browser is still doing weird stuff. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's coming back. Just coming back.
Yeah, Big Market just threw me out. I don't know why.
What's it saying?
I think the same thing happened. Yeah.
Oh, now Ty's gone.
I think there's something wrong. They're basically saying that, hey, like the webinar is too long, All right, guys. Any other questions you guys have for Doc, me, or Ty? Just please let me know before we wrap up our third episode of PitchGround webinars. Asaf is saying, Ty, your bird looks amazing. Keep going with that. I was wondering when.
I'm trying to grow out. I gotta do some manicure here. This is SaaS life, man. This is SaaS life. This is when you're sitting doing a prototype for like hours, trying to figure out how to make it all happen.
Brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. All right, guys. Any other questions that you guys have? We'll just take up like one last question, if any. If not, then we'll wrap up this webinar. Recurring commissions, brilliant. I guess like people are excited about the affiliation program as well. So maybe you would just want to drop in like all the words after the webinar in the group itself. So Ty will be posting about the affiliation details in the MarketPlan group. So if you're not there in the group, please do join the group. And once again, thank you so much, everyone who have stayed here for the last 2 hours listening to us. And I hope this webinar, again, we were able to share some of the golden nuggets that you can really pick up. Some of the things you might already know, but some of the things might be some very unique angles that you might have picked up. Just start implementing them. Do not just listen to the webinar, and take action. And if you are getting results, just reach out to Doc and just tell him like, hey, like you have actually gotten results because of his advice, or just like post your whatever results that you have received so far. Just post it in the PitchGround group or in the MarketPlan IO group. We are always going to be there to help you out in every single step, but we want you to take action. So before we wrap up this webinar, Doc, you want to say anything to the amazing audience that we have today?
No, I'd just like to say thank you so much for watching, and I'm in PitchGround as well, so I'll answer any questions. I can, whatever you want. I just thank you so much for all this, Ty. I mean, really, this has been amazing. Udit, thank you so much for putting all this together because this has really, really changed my business and my focus. So thank you.
Oh, great, man.
Pleasure's all mine. So before we wrap up, any final words, Ty?
Oh, listen, we're just so appreciative for the community. I can't say enough that the people are great. The people in the MarketPlan group are great. The people in the PitchGround group, amazing. And we're just enjoying just the process of understanding, learning, growing together, and just hearing the amazing stories like Doc, your story just popping up randomly, like was it last week, and just say like, oh my gosh, this is real life. I can't believe it. Man, it's the one thing when you build a tool and then all of a sudden you realize that it's actually helping people. It's the difference maker. And so we've really received that. Our team is ecstatic. We're ecstatic. It's really good vibes over here. And we're really making sure that we're going to be delivering not just on the product, but even on the content side, to make sure that the agencies that have bought, and even the people, the individuals, the entrepreneurs that have bought, are really going to be able to, make something of this. Make this more than just an app. It's got to actually mean money for your business, and it's got to actually mean something more. And so that's our goal. That's what we're committed to. And so looking forward to the future.
All right, fantastic, guys. Once again, go and take action. And before I wrap up the webinar, you guys have just got 2 days. So if anyone has not got MarketPlan and thinks that the tool can really make and change their life, then you can go to pitchground.com/MarketPlan.io and grab the plan. Again, there's just 2 days left. That's about it. After that, the lifetime deal is never coming back. But even after that, if you feel the tool is going to be helpful for you, go and buy on recurring. It's okay to pay monthly as long as you see the benefit out of it.
That's right.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. And thank you, Doc.